بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد اللهم ألهمنا مراشد أمورنا وأعذنا من شرور أنفسنا. Normally once a year, just before in the month of February, at the madrasa in Azadville, we have a jalsa, which is known as the Islahi jalsa. So before that, a dawat is given. We go around to different masajid, inviting people to come for this program. This year it will be around the 7th, 8th and 9th of February at the madrasa in Azadville. So many a time when this word comes out, Islah, Tazkiyah, taking bay'at to someone, then people say that I haven't heard about this in the past. Like, what is this word? So especially this word Islah. That what is this Islah? So in a very easy manner, everything in the world needs someone to do it up again. So if you got a car, the mechanic perhaps might not be as rich as you. He doesn't own that car. But he can fix up the car which you can't fix up. So the value is with you. It's not with him. And you will go to him richer than him, and you will come out richer than him also. But if you don't go to the person and bring yourself down, in that fast life of ours, if we can't take out that 5 minutes or 50 minutes or half a day and tell the mechanic, today I am stopping, then we all know there's a chance that this fantastic car might not remain fantastic. The bigger the model is, the bigger the make is, there's just a small mistake that has to come in it and it's gone off the road. Look at the huge aeroplanes that crashed. Now they are stopping production of it. When that first one went down, the people said, we already warned you about it. There was a small issue, a very small issue. But in that small issue was the entire thing of the aeroplane. Lives and lives were going to be lost because of one issue. In today's time when we hear of divorce, and when they ask what's the problem, was it the girl or the boy? The answer is that Islah was not made. There was no problem with the girl. A girl is a girl. They haven't been perhaps from the past, and you won't get in the future. You can go looking and looking. Look for a girl with a sweet tongue, you're not going to find it. The tongue will only be sweet before the marriage. When Sahabi radiallahu anh complained to Umar radiallahu anh, if there was someone who could perhaps have sorted out women in the world, it was him. Even the devil moved away from him. Even the devil. Umar radiallahu anh took over practically the whole world. He laid the laws down that you will go to Persia, you will do this. You will go to Iraq was Persia and Iran. You will go to Rome, you will do this. He never saw it. He was able to put laws for the whole world. A Sahabi radiallahu anh came and complained to him about his wife. Umar radiallahu anh said, I'm having the same problem. That was his words. He said, my condition is that I want to go out for some very important work. He used the word haja. Normally haja in Arabic means istinja. Istinja is that need that even if the wife says you can't go, you have to go. He said, there are times I need to go out for a severe need. At that time my wife says to me, you lying you. This was his words. She said, he says to me, you only want to go see which girls are being sold in the market, slave girls, so that you can see which one appeals to you. He said, my wife is like that. So Abdullah bin Mas'ud radiallahu anh was sitting nearby. So he went more further like. He said, Nabi Ibrahim alayhi salatu wassalam complained to Almighty Allah. You can see how many complaints came about the poor woman. The Sahabi complained to Umar radiallahu anh. Umar radiallahu anh said, I can't help you. He said, go to Ibrahim. Ibrahim alayhi salam complained to Almighty Allah. Because his wife was Sarah. She was a unique woman. Which makes you understand, a wife having a sharp tongue doesn't mean she is not the beloved of Allah. When they were traveling, he and his wife, the king of Egypt, he had evil intentions with this woman. He went forward to do whatever she wanted. She cursed him. Allah Tabarakala made it, he got stuck. what you call like paralysis came over his body. He could not move. And then he begged her that, please, whatever you did, what magic on me will you? So she must have said something and Allah Tabarak Ta'ala made it. When he felt movement, he must have thought something happened to his body. Again he advanced on her. It happened about 2 or 3 times. Then he said that you are a protected woman. And then he took one slave girl of his and he gave it to her. This was the mother of Ismail alayhi salam, Hajar. She got Hajar because of her wilayat. Now Ibrahim alayhi salam and his wife leave. Now she takes Hajar and she gives it over to her husband, Ibrahim alayhi salatu wassalam. They had no children. But now from Hajar, Ibrahim alayhi salam is going to become a father. So when this Hajar, who was the slave girl really of Sarah, it's like how sometimes nowadays we hear about, there are some girls, everyone wants to be in the Guinness Book of Records. So alhamdulillah, recently some girls thought of this. The 2 girls sat together and each one said to the other, that whoever gets married first from me or you, because a lot of people are not getting married in the world. So whoever gets married, and after 6 months, if the friend is not married, then they both made promise that I will tell my husband, whoever's husband it is, must also marry the other one. So unique that is, unique. But after that, do they manage to carry on in one car? Women can't carry on in one car. They could have been so close that they got their husband married to their best friend. 2 days later, they are fighting like cats and dogs. The husband will sometimes tell the wife, you told me to marry her. She'll say, I never told you to get close to her, but that's how it is. So she gave the girl over. Hajar was given. She fell pregnant. Sarah radiallahu anha got very hurt about it. Imagine what the age was. They were close to about 80 at that time. Ibrahim alayhi salam was about 90 when he was blessed with his child. At that age also, it doesn't go away. This is a woman. So for a few days or months, it was very difficult. Finally, Allah Tabarak Ta'ala gave the command, you must take Hajar and the son, Ismail alayhi salam, very far. That's why Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam finally took to Makkah Mukarramah. You learn a lot of things from here. One is, in the fights of women, if a man can make sabr, Allah Tabarak Ta'ala will give so much of barakah. Makkah Mukarramah was created because of her fighting. If you can make sabr on the tongue. So he complained to Almighty Allah because it was hard in those few months. Abdullah bin Mas'ud radiallahu anh says he complained about Sarah. Almighty Allah, now if anyone could have sorted out Sarah, it was Almighty Allah. Like sometimes a person comes to a Molana and says, if you got this taweez, like, to put my wife right, that alim will say, my friend, my wife will be the first one who will be right after that. No one's wife is right. There's no taweez in this. If anyone's dua was going to be accepted, and if anyone could have sorted out the woman, Almighty Allah would have said, oh Ibrahim, for you. Allah Tabarak Ta'ala said to Ibrahim alayhi salam, I created them like this. So that's the car. If that car is going to move in this direction, what is the meaning of Islah now? Islah means to be able to use, to ride, to take benefit from everything around you in the manner that you don't destroy it, it doesn't destroy you. Me and you, what we want everything to come right. Islam means that it teaches me how to drive everything. Look at a man riding a horse. Why did the horse throw one person out and it kept the other person on his back? You will say he's a good horse rider. It had nothing to do with the horse. Had the horse been wonderful, no one would have broken their arm and their leg. One person learned that I'll have to control the horse. One person saw it's looking so nice, he started thinking the horse runs so well. So from outside you looked at a married couple and you said they look so happy. And you said, I'll get married tomorrow and I'll also live happily ever after. No one taught you, if you want the marriage to survive, you'll have to learn how to drive. Normally in the world of cars, why do you see more men driving than women? The reason is it's known that a woman, no matter what a good driver she is, if she drives, there's always an accident. Women are like that. While she's driving, she looks in the mirror. We look in the mirror to see a car behind. She look in the mirror to see that pimple. As she's looking, bang. But she's not bothered also too much. She'll just phone, she'll say, hey, you know what, there's a small scratch, but I'm catching a taxi, just come sort it out. She never bought the car. For her, it's like a small thing. If her tongue, if her Tupperware, if her pot gets a scratch, the poor maid in the house will go to jail. The car gets a scratch, you say, it's just a car, what are you making an issue of? That's a woman, normal. The man who has to learn to drive is called Islah. For a woman to learn how to control her tongue has been made sharp. She can take out such words in such a manner. Islah doesn't mean that cut off the tongue. It means there's times that you'll have to learn how to protect. That's the meaning of Islah. There's going to be Islah on the tongue, and if you don't do it, Allah's Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam spoke of the tongue, the harms of the tongue. A Sahabi radiallahu anh, he said, "Oh Allah's Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam, the way you are saying it is just because of the tongue. So much of harm." Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam what sends man to the depths of Jahannam faster than the tongue? If the tongue's Islah could take place, it would read one La ilaha illallah. The man died, he entered into paradise. If the tongue's Islah never took place, you'll see a Muslim sometimes uttering such a word of kufr. His nikah breaks, which is not the worst. His paradise breaks. Everything breaks. In that pride of his, he doesn't get angry and take his anger out on someone in front. He takes out his anger on Almighty Allah. And he still feels happy about it. The tongue's Islah wasn't made. If the eye's Islah is made, that man will understand no matter what you look in the world, there will always be something one above more smarter. Am I always going to look? When I'm on the internet and I want to see, I saw a woman, she hardly had clothes on. It looked so nice. But my eyes said I want to see even more. So then I saw a naked picture, I wanted to see more. Then that person who's married, but for him that eye now it needs more, it's climbing a mountain that got no end. And every time the eye says one last time, when Islah is made of the eye, it will be like a man who pulls the horse. The person who knows how to ride the horse, he knows how to pull. He knows how to say ho, ho, whoa, whoa. The man who doesn't know, it had nothing to do with the eye, it had to do with the one in charge of the eye. If Islah was not made on that eye, that very thing that led you to your wife will lead you to your wife's sister also. The very thing that made you fall in love with a pretty girl who was halal will make you fall in love with something that is way, way, way out of your grasp, completely haram. If Islah of this private part is not made, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, give me guarantee of this, what's between your jaws. He said, give me guarantee what's between your thigh. He said, I'll give you guarantee of paradise. You give me two guarantees, that you look after this, you look after that. He said, your Jannah is made. If this private part's Islah is not made, he could be an angel during the day, he could be the devil at night. He could be going on the streets and he forgets that during the day how I was reading Quran. So there was nothing wrong with his private part, it was called Islah. And in this world, how everyone understands, there are doctors for everything. And as soon as you figure out, or as soon as you feel there's a problem, even if it's not genuine, you normally say, let me just check it up. It might be cancerous. In this world it is, let me check it, it might be kufr. And there's a lot of Islah to be made. As the days are changing, and new things are coming in the world. There was the Islah of the private part, which was a very big thing, but people knew it. A man understood that what I'm doing is not right. He felt shy, he sat in a bayan, he wanted to cry, he made tawbah. His private part wasn't under control, but at least he knew it. So now and then he would cry. The eye wasn't on control. He picked up after that. I got a problem with my eye. I look during the day, I fight with my wife at night, but there's a problem. He picked it up. There's a problem with the tongue. I swear the house. Other people will never believe it. They say, you swear. I got a problem with my hand. That if they know how me and my wife box in the house. Outside I am so calm, I'm like a sheep. No one can ever think I could hit a woman. But I know what's happening in the house. But at least that man, to a great extent, he cries. Then there is something called Islah of this mind. Where the mind has been affected today, the person won't even make tawbah because he doesn't know the poison has entered there. Today we entered in an environment where every day we fed something. Ask a person who watches a television show, a series, a movie. Before they put on that movie which they know is not right. But before they put it on, they know that this is nothing but a movie. But as that movie plays out in front of them, you'll see that man sitting and watching will start crying also. Even if it's a cartoon in that movie. In that cartoon he saw one lion cub dying. He'll start crying. He'll say, why they kill that lion? Even in lie, he starts taking such an effect of it. When the cartoon could create such an effect on his mind, then when he sees on the screen real things, example, he sees the news. The news is real. But every day we hear nothing but lies on the news. But if that cartoon could affect his mind so much, where the news is not going to affect it. So as he sees it, he learns that this is good, this is bad. Recently now when this new series has come out, so a lot of people send this question, this Al-Messiah, that the series has come out about whether it's Isa alayhi salam or whether it's about Dajjal. So for the person not watching it, it's like no problem because I knew nothing about Isa alayhi salam and it never really harmed me. But for that person who watches this, they even know it's a movie or it's a series or it's made by the shayateen. But as that person watches it, their mind becomes so tuned into the thing. That after that when you sit with the person, he'll tell you about Isa alayhi salam more than you can tell him. If you say Isa alayhi salam was this, he'll say, no, he was like this. Come, I'll tell you. Ask him how you know it. Say, I saw in the movie. That mind. Because of that, I'll just digress a little. I'll explain to you about this. I haven't seen this and Allah save us all from it. But why do they make these things? What they had to do with making something called Messiah. So I haven't seen it. What I'm saying now might not be right also. Who knows? But this is called Islah. That at least we can tune our mind. That there's a lot of lies around us. Because of those lies, I mustn't fall into kufr. If I saw a cartoon in front of me and I cried, the most the world will say, you are stupid, you. That lion doesn't exist, you crying about it. That man who saw that movie, ask that man at night, that movie already finished. It was made, it's not true. It was made 10 years ago perhaps. In that movie today he saw one woman was killed. At night he's sitting and thinking, hey, why they killed her? He'll carry on tossing, that woman might be dead already. Why did it affect his mind so much? If there was no Islah on this, if that one movie could make him cry, what do you think this series which got to do about religion can do to a person? What is filth and dirt could become good, what is good can become evil. If there is no Islah, like how cancer one day comes out as cancer, and then a doctor sometimes says, I don't think I can help you, it's gone too far. Sometimes this poison goes so far that finally when some help is called and they say sit in front of this person and talk, from A to Z that person is only blurting out kufr. Only kufr. And you wonder that what made you reach this place? They will say once upon a time he did 6, 7 paras in Quran. He's a hafiz of 6, 7. But poison entered, poison spread, it moved. Cancer doesn't show itself on the outside, it moves on the inside. Poison of the shaitan does not show itself on the outside. It's very long afterwards where you hear a man swearing. Everything moves on the inside. It starts with doubts against Almighty Allah. Then it starts with anger. Then I fell in love with a certain person who's not a Muslim, very far from deen. Then I understood that this person doesn't believe in Allah, but I had more love for the person than Allah. So instead of telling the person, believe in Allah, Allah gave you everything, I start questioning Allah, why are you going to punish this person? Instead of telling the person, Allah gave you food, thank your Creator, I start saying to Allah, what wrong did my friend do? Why are you going to punish him? And then sometimes I hear someone saying to me that a disbeliever will not get paradise. It will not make me make dua for my friend. It will make me get angry with my Allah. And as that person moves, then there's doubts upon doubts, anger upon anger. He's just burning. And he keeps it in, but keeping it in doesn't make it go away. A time comes where a cup, when you fill it, then when it goes over the tip, that's when you said the whole pot, the tea came on top and everything is messed up. Now someone has to start cleaning. But as the tea was rising, you weren't supposed to expect it to stop. It had to come over. When man boils with dirt, anger, confusion, doubts, and he never ever goes for something called Islah. Islah means that the doctors want injection. There's a lot of blood clotting, I need it to be pulled out. But I'm just leaving it. Why? Either I'm too shy, or as long as it's inside, there's no problem. No one outside knows it. It doesn't stay inside. It comes. So in the series that they made, the Messiah, we don't really know what the intention is. But I'll just mention a few things, so if ever someone has to fall into watching such a filthy thing, then at least a word of kufr will not come on the tongue or in the mind. Nabi Isa alayhi salatu wassalam is a very, very unique Nabi of Allah. And to Islam, he is perhaps the closest. Ibrahim alayhi salam got a relationship with us. He's like the father of our ummah. But Nabi Isa alayhi salam's relationship with this ummah is such because he's going to come back. We are waiting for him. He's called the Messiah. Messiah means the Savior. He will come and sort out everything in the ending. He is coming back. We believe he's coming back. The Christians believe he's coming back. They are waiting for him from the beginning. From the beginning. Isa alayhi salam, when he was being taken away, he said to them, وَمُبَشِّرًا بِرَسُولِي يَأْتِي مِن بَعْدِي اسْمُهُ أَحْمَدٍ. He said to them, I am giving you the glad tidings of the Savior coming after me. His name is Ahmad, Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. They knew it, they waited for Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam. When Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam came, many of them accepted Islam. That's the Muslims in the world. And there were those that said, no, this is not the one we're waiting for. We are waiting for the Savior, meaning Jesus himself. Because he also told them, I will come back. And we also were told by Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he will come back. How he will come back, but perhaps the Christians were never told us, we were told. So we have to understand when he comes back, how he will come. If that can sit in our minds, if you can, we will pick up any other Savior after that. Why this is being mentioned? You see, movies normally, why they are created? They are created to make something which you cannot imagine easy to accept before it comes out. The world we live in today, which is called a funny world, where a man takes his phone here and is speaking to someone in America. 70, 80 years ago, no one would have believed it. But it was going to be so far-fetched. But with television, it was brought so close. So when the people went into the era, that which supposed to be questioned was never questioned. When it was supposed to be questioned, why did the whole world come onto one currency? Gold was taken away, silver was taken away, money was created as paper. It had a promise here, I'll pay you back. The promise was taken away. The whole world accepted. War started in the world. Everyone gave their powers over to one. Everyone accepted. The mind accepts something which it is made to accept before the time. Ask that man who wants to get married, second wife. He will tell you the best way to do it is don't get married. But spread the message around your friends that you got a second wife. He said, and then look for the results. If there's an earthquake after that and you can manage it, he said, then get married. And if you can't manage it, then you already know what happens. Then you just tell your wife, who said this? It's a lie, it's a lie. Okay. If you want the thing to see, you'll have to prepare it beforehand. So send the message out, see the ripple. If you can't manage to swim after that, rather don't jump in the water. They prepared the minds of people with movies. What do they want to prepare? You see, we're living in a world which is called a system. The world worships a system. But when we worship a system, I still will not call it kufr. I love the modern world, you love the modern world. Practically I worship it, you worship it. We worship the dollar, we worship the pound. Only one thing is, by the fadl of Allah, we're still not making sajda to it. A system you can't worship itself. But we love the system. We don't want to see the collapse of the system. If the system introduces kufr to me, sometimes I take the kufr. If the system introduces to me poison, but it will be with education, every father will say, oh my daughter, go for the education. Don't worry of the poison. The system introduced it. It's so beloved, the system. Whatever the system says, I will go into it. Even if I got the fear, my child might lose himself. But in the love of the system, we reach that time in the life. 100 years ago, in the Muslim world, there was no such system. 300 years ago, in the non-Muslim world, there was no system. There was a time in the non-Muslim world, the church ruled. That collapsed. Atheism spread right through. There was a time when it was not like that. Then in the Muslim world, in the last 100 years, that system was created. A system that when Christmas would come, in Muslim countries, it would be celebrated even bigger than non-Muslim countries. And you would ask them, what's the celebration for? No one knows. No one's bothered. Because it's the acceptance of a system. The system said Christmas, it's Christmas. The system said Diwali, it's Diwali. Whatever the system says, the law was, don't question the system. Just move with the system. We reached that place. 100 years ago, if someone said we will all be working on one system, no one would have believed it. Everyone would have said, I trust my own mind. But then television came in everyone's house. The same news came in everyone's house. The same BBC and Fox and whatever you want to call your news stations. They all came and they told you one thing and everyone believed it. If anyone dared denied it, there was no islah of the mind. So whatever was put in was what the whole body accepted. But it was still a system. Will the system ever manage to come to a man? That if one individual has to come in the world now and he says, forget the system. Forget America, forget Israel, forget France, forget Britain, forget Russia. Forget Hijaz, forget Iraq, forget Iran, forget Saudi, forget the world, worship me. Forget a system. Again the whole world will start saying, why must I worship one man? So to prepare the minds of the world for the coming of one individual, that every person in the world can forget a system. And the system we loved until today, to start hating it. Leaders we love to hate them. A monetary system we love to hate it. How will the world move from that system into one individual? So this is what is known as Al-Masih, the Messiah. To create the minds that one man can move in the world and he can make a call for justice. That even if the systems of the world oppose him, he will manage to move through. When Nabi Isa alayhi salam came in the world, Allah's Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam described Dajjal in a unique way. He called him Al-Masihud Dajjal. Dajjal means false. It doesn't mean liar. Liar means kadhib. Liar means kadhab. Dajjal means that the one who you won't pick up. Covered. When you see him, you'll think he's really Isa alayhi salam. He will do as Isa alayhi salam did. Nabi Isa alayhi salam, when he came in the time of the Roman Empire. He came to the Jewish Qawm. Anyone who studied his Tariq and who reads a little bit of this Messiah or Messiah series, they will understand either that person who made it read the tarikh of Isa alayhi salam, oh, it's really the shayateen who made this thing. How Isa alayhi salam was, this series is going to show a man will be. Isa alayhi salam moved in the Bani Israel, but they did not like him. Every system opposed him. He came in the time where medicine was on its heights. In today's circles you'll hear about Yunani Tib, Greek medication. That was the Greek time. Yunani Tib had reached its uruj, its peak. Everything was medicine. They could hold a woman by the pulse, and they could say to her whether it's a girl, whether it's a boy. A girl who's not falling pregnant, they had the medicine to get her to fall pregnant. With medicine, they had reached the heights. They had taken people onto that level that you will only believe what the eye will see. What's called mushahada, what's called tajruba, experience. What we cannot experience and understand, it's a no-no. Me and you, what system we reach today? We reach the same. Medicine reached its peak. They are able to pick up again whether the boy, it's a boy or a girl. A woman who's not falling pregnant will help you fall pregnant. A person who got white skin, we will help you to come out of that problem. Medicine reached its heights. Nabi Isa alayhi salam, when he was born, he broke that principle. He broke it in every manner. Number one, where they said you cannot give birth without the mixing of a husband and a wife. Almighty Allah let him be born. There was no father, there was only a mother. Where it's known that a child can only speak from a certain age, Isa alayhi salam in the cradle started speaking. Where a child has to learn how to read and write, Isa alayhi salam said, my Allah taught me, and He showed them I can write. Nabi Isa alayhi salam had no cameras in the houses of people, but he would go to them, وَأُنَبِّئُكُمْ بِمَا تَأْكُلُونَ وَمَا تَدَّخِرُونَ فِي بُيُوتِكُمْ. He would sit with someone, and he will say, how was the chicken you all ate last night? And he will say, don't tell me you're a poor person, I know in that cellar of yours you got a lot of wheat. He could tell them whatever was hidden, but there was no cameras. That's when the people started getting affected by Nabi Isa alayhi salatu wasalam. He was one above the rest. So youngsters came to him. Now the Jewish leaders, they became very affected by this, that everyone is pulling away from them and running to Nabi Isa alayhi salam. They had to now bring in the Romans, the superpower of the time. What the Roman got to do with it? But they could not sort him out themselves. Isa alayhi salam would just get out. Wherever they tried to grab him, he was blessed with Jibreel alayhi salam, Ruhul Qudus. He was blessed with divine power. He could just move out of the... So every youngster who would see Isa alayhi salam would fall in love with him. A mother would bring a child who was sick, Isa alayhi salam would just rub it. One meaning of Masih was, I'll rub and you'll get better. That mother will forget all the stories of the Jews. They will accuse Isa alayhi salam of being the son of a harami, son of zina. His mother they called a zania. Whatever bad words they said about him, the daughter just got cured and the mother would fall at his feet. He brought the whole world, but that world was small because that Isa alayhi salam did not have the help of modern day propaganda. There was no WhatsApp that was going to take a picture now and show the whole world. But Isa alayhi salam did it all. That happened already. Isa alayhi salam's next coming in the world, he will not do this anymore. In his next coming, he's not going to go to America a few days, Texas few days, land up in South Africa, Iraq. He's not going to move in certain areas, and then he's going to get America chasing him, then he has to run out of a prison, out of a jail. That will not be Isa alayhi salam. Isa alayhi salam, when he comes, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said he will come, his hands will be now like on the shoulders of two angels, and the angels will bring him down. You will see like water coming down from his face as though he just had his ghusl, fresh. Isa alayhi salam will land in the middle of the war. When the war will reach its height with Hazrat Mehdi and Dajjal, Isa alayhi salam is now going to come into that war and bring an end to that war. Before that war, this world will see a person. This will be called that false Messiah. They will see a person going in the world. How he will do it, we don't know. But perhaps the series has come to prepare minds of people. As a person will move in this world, how do you make the world fall in love with filth and dirt? Filth and dirt has to act like purity, and then the world will fall in love. When this figure of filth and dirt, what we will call Dajjal, will walk in the world, how will he make non-Muslims forget non-Muslims? May Allah save us all. He will have Muslims looking at him and saying, wow. And you might say impossible. But just put yourself in that time. Although it will be a time when Islam will be at the moment rising, wars will be carrying on. Most likely Hazrat Mahdi will already have emerged. But me and you, we all get amazed by amazing things. Have you ever seen someone who went to an amil? Whether the amil reads his salah or he doesn't read his salah. Whether he has a shari'i look or he hasn't got. Whether he got porn in his house or he hasn't got, it makes no difference. If my child is suffering with a jinn, and they tell me that amil is a master, I just take my son there. If that amil reads 1-2 sentences which I don't know what it means, even if he takes the protection of shaitan, and my son that night doesn't cry, from tomorrow I will start telling my friends, wow, he is powerful. Although I saw nothing in his house but bare dini, I saw kufr, I heard words I wasn't happy with, but the health of my child made me just become blind. Put myself and yourself in a time where one man walks in the world and we hear America is against him. But they can't catch him. The only reason they can't catch him is because the people behind them are not allowing them to catch him. So now you got FBI, who yesterday I loved, but tomorrow I'll hate. Because the FBI is after him, CIA is after him, this group is after him, that group is after him. Then someone will take out a WhatsApp. Every day I'm following the WhatsApp. Hey, I heard they put him in one jail. Hey, he disappeared. But no, Isa alayhi salam is now going to disappear. So if someone is now going to disappear, it's going to be the false Isa. But I'll be so amazed on that phone. Because me, I love anyone who opposes America. Even in Iran opposes America. So many times I was told that Iran is a lie. Iran is a nation that speaks more filth of the family of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam than even America. But just because I needed one country to oppose America, so the enemy of my enemy becomes my friend. It was never supposed to be that. He will walk in the world and my enemy America, who I loved until today, when they will become his enemy, he'll become my friend. He will become my God. Non-Muslims will start going towards him. The world most likely at that time will be on a peak, that Christians and Muslims will be saying, we want peace. And you'll suddenly see one man walking in the world calling for peace. And he'll have the news with him. He'll have WhatsApps with him. Where in India, if they wanted to stop WhatsApps, no one could send out. But this individual, WhatsApps will not stop. His every act will be shown in the world. A person will come, the child will have a skin disease. He'll rub his hand over the child. He'll smile. The child will fall in love. The mother will fall in love. The whole world will fall in love. If one movie today can make us cry at night this way, that way, what will happen the day I'll see a real thing happening? At that time, so someone said in the series also, there will be one Molana or one Alim or one Muslim. Perhaps it happened or it's going to happen in the series, where this Muslim will stand up and say, you are Al-Masihud Dajjal. So they asked me like, why will this happen? This will happen because they want to create in the minds of people that the day this filth comes in the world, then even if your alim of your masjid stands up and says, he is Masihud Dajjal, then the entire town will tell the alim, hey, you keep quiet, he is our God. They were going to create that the one who calls him Dajjal is the evil one, he is the good one. In the series, perhaps they'll use the word ISIS, because ISIS was created by them. But why they created ISIS? And why they allowed ISIS to crash so fast? Why they showed the lie of ISIS so fast? Iran's light they still haven't shown in the world. But ISIS very fast. What is ISIS? That word in English, whatever word they intended, but IS meant Islamic State. It was to prepare the minds of the world that the day an Islamic State will be created, remember it's a bad thing, it's not a good thing. Because in that era when a real Islamic State, not the lie of ISIS will stand, whoever watched these movies, whoever went through the last 5 or 10 years, who saw the lies of ISIS, that person unfortunately might say, Allah save us all. He might say to his children, that I already saw this in the past, it's all a lie. He might hear a man from Makkah Mukarramah making a call for the world come. But he will just say, I want peace, I'm tired of war. Hazrat Mehdi will not manage to make the sick person better. Hazrat Mehdi will not manage to make the one who got a jinn take out the jinn. But the Dajjal who's like the master of the jinn, king of the jinn, he doesn't have to take out a jinn. He just has to tell the jinn, go out. Jinn will go around houses. We have reached that time at the moment where everyone is getting knocked with jinn. And everyone is looking. In some bayans recently I mentioned how heavy it has become our time. That our own Muslim people are saying, I have found my solutions in Kabbalah. And when you say to them, Kabbalah is kufr, they will say, no, I read it already. Had it been so easy to see the kufr, even the small child wouldn't read it. Kabbalah is kufr, but not a kufr you will see. In the past, how drugs open the door for the jinn to enter. Kabbalah opens the doors for the jinn to enter. You don't have to take drugs anymore. Read a few words of the day and the jinn is yours after that. They'll move in your mind, they'll move in your body. They'll make you see things at night. They'll make you feel happy, they'll make you feel down. They'll make you do things you never ever imagined you can do. They will make you look at your own wife, but you won't see a wife. You will see a prostitute. You will see her and you will say, I know she's sleeping with my brother. She's so innocent, you will accuse her of the worst acts of zina, because there's something in you at the moment. What brought it in? People will ask, he takes drugs. They say, you don't take drugs. They say, worse than that, he's reading words which have opened up every domain of the jinn. This is called Islah. If Islah takes place, you just need one person. You just need one mind to hear that when Isa alayhi salam's coming, the next coming, he will come in the center of the war. Anyone who comes before that, no matter how kind and how good he looks, no matter how fast he can make the sick better, no matter how amazing he can be to get out of America in Russia's hands, no matter how quickly he can disappear and go everywhere where he wants, he is nothing but Al-Masih, definitely, Ad-Dajjal. He is filth and dirt. But Dajjal doesn't mean you'll see the dirt. Dajjal means covered. So beautiful it will look that even a Muslim might say at that time, I love him. And that will be that kufr. Whether we will see that time, who knows? But why I'm saying it now is, it must not happen that a Muslim watches the series, and while the series is going on, at night he's sitting and thinking, hey, I hope he gets free tomorrow. Hey, he's sitting in the jail, I hope someone gives him food. Hey, I wonder what's going to happen. Then tomorrow he helped one young girl in the next series, and at night I'm smiling. My wife say, what's making you smile? He say, hey, that girl almost died, lucky he helped her. I even know it's a lie. But already my mind is only talking one thing, he. I wonder what he's going to do tomorrow. I wonder what he's going to do next week. Hey, they shot him, or he's going to die. Now he's in hospital, now that machine is going. I'm dying. I hope he don't die. Whatever that series purpose is, if it's going to introduce the world, it's not going to introduce us to Dajjal as filth. It's going to introduce the world to Dajjal as Nabi Isa alayhi salam. And Isa alayhi salam was a markaz of love. Markaz of love. Whoever saw him fell in love with him. This filth of Dajjal, when he will look like Nabi Isa alayhi salam, whoever will see him will fall in love with him. Loudly I am saying it, that if you dare take the chance going to say, let me see what the series is about, then I am warning you that if that lioness can die, cartoon, and it can make you cry at night, when you will see this individual in that series who is showing you what Nabi Isa alayhi salam was, you will fall in love with him. And after you fall in love, even if loudly the world says Dajjal, you will say, even if it's Dajjal, I love him. That is kufr. This is Islah. That before a man makes one mistake, the eye is ours, but if it goes out of my control, it's somebody else's. The tongue is mine. If it's out of my control, it is somebody else. It will rain havoc in this world. It can destroy my akhirah. I mention Islah of all the body pieces. The tongue, the hand, the eye, all of this, when we use it wrong, we realize at least. We see the harm that has come. Immediately we cry, we go to someone, I need help. It is this mind. When this mind is getting poisoned, you will never see a man crying in the masjid. Because he doesn't know he's getting poisoned. He really feels that how I see the world is right. What everybody else says it's wrong. One place we went to, someone spoke about the Shia in Iran. A man in the front is speaking in the light of Quran and Sunnah. That other man who said, I went to Iran, he's speaking in the light of the world, in the light of what his eye saw. This man is speaking in the light of what Quran and Sunnah showed. But the man who said, I saw it, he had so much of trust in his eye, because his mind, it would never make him cry. He won't cry and say, Allah, why am I thinking good about someone who swears the wife of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam? He won't say that, because he doesn't know he's poisoned. He will rather come to the man who saw Quran and Sunnah, and he will say, you mustn't say this rubbish anymore. When this mind becomes poisoned, then we feel that the world will not see the harm. You won't see the harm. So there's no crying, there's no tawbah. But if that man goes in the grave, and he finds he only had one thing to do in this world, which was to leave with Iman, it must not happen because of a poisoned mind. A time came that who was the worst, who Allah's Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, from the time of Nabi Isa alayhi salam, from the time of Nabi Adam alayhi salam, till the last day, no evil has been created, no test has been created, no trial has been created. Worse means more difficult than the trial of Dajjal. It must not be that when you see that trial, at that last stage, because remember, Dajjal's final appearance in the world is right at the end. So it means a ship moved, and it's coming so close to the shore. Just after that, very shortly, is Qiyamah. The world is coming to end, and after that. So that ship of Iman move right at the ending. And then the thing just fell in front and I lost it all. Right by the shore the ship went. May Allah Tabarak Ta'ala save my Iman, your Iman, our children's Iman. There's a lot of Islah to be made, lot of Islah. This program that we're having is just a small program. Islah is a big thing. There's not one or two mechanics that are needed. There's cars all over the world. Everyone has to think, my eye, my tongue, my heart, my mind. Every now and then I have to have a mechanic. He might not be as strong as me. He might not be as big as me. He might not be as wealthy as me. He might not talk as fluent as me. But he's a mechanic in the ending. If he just puts one thing right, my car will go right again. And if I don't go to the mechanic, then the very thing that I got to take me to paradise, that very thing will just steer off the road and that person is flying down the cliff. May Allah Tabarak Ta'ala bless us with a unique Iman, with an Iman that enters our eye, enters our tongue, enters our heart, purifies us from the inside, makes us light for the outside. Allah Tabarak Ta'ala bless us all with complete Islah. While we are alive, we see the fruits of this Islah. The people around us, they enjoy this Islah. That person who said, my wife was so rude, he starts finding a softer wife. The wife who said, my husband is a monster, she says, I don't know what happened to him, he started changing. That father who said, I hate my son, now between the father and the son, they're best of friends. Brother was fighting with his sister, Islah took place, they were able to make up. With Islah, wars can be brought back together. Enemies can become friends. A lot of things can happen with Islah. And if there's no Islah, then that was once upon a time so strong, that also breaks apart. Allah Tabarak Ta'ala save us from family fights. saves us from difficulties, save us from all musibats of this world, more important difficulties of the year after. Allah does not let us, oh Allah, do not let us fall into kufr. Keep us with iman, take us with iman, resurrect us with iman. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin.